almost think we're playing a game of chess right here, but we're getting right into the front pages of the dailies this morning. What exactly are the dailies saying? Let us give it right to you. We're starting off with The Guardian. Yes, for the very first time on the morning brief, we're showing you what the front pages of the dailies are saying. So here you have The Guardian newspaper leading with labor issues. Oh yes, fresh agitation trails state's poor execution of new minimum wage. I recall the labor leaders last week in the New Year messages, both by text and interview on Channels Television, said that, well, states need to adhere to the new Minimum Wage Act. We don't call it New Minimum Wage Act anymore, Jeffrey. This
it's a Minimum Wage Act.
Exactly. This was all the way last year, but it looks like lots of states are still not adhering to it, even though the labor leader said across levels. So this is what you have, and there you see the images of the labor leaders and the sub-nationals as well. Fresh agitation trails states' poor execution of new minimum wage. If you want to know what the poor execution is about, then of course you might need to do a deeper dive. But you understand these things. Lots of states are not paying yet. Some have announced. Maybe we've not seen the implementation. You know these things, Jeffrey.
Well, sir, just below that, we have insurgencies, insecurity, end in 2025. CDS tells personnel. It's quite ambitious, quite bold. We don't know how this is going to come through, but just around there, the CDS Chief of Defense Staff talking to personnel on page 9 of The Guardian, just perhaps motivating them and setting target that all issues of insecurity and insurgencies should end in 2025. So perhaps a brand new charge for the men of the armed forces in 2025. And just besides that, you can also see that terrorists killed Miati Allah German, 3 others in Katsina State. So you can see has
just side by side.
Just side by side. On one hand, you're talking about ending insurgency. On the other hand, terrorists are killing people. So that's one of the pages of The Guardian newspaper.
There you go. It is a lot. And that's why we're doing a deep dive for you on the show this morning, talking about security. Well, power makes its way to the front page as well. I know some people have not had power for a few days now, or maybe longer than expected. But you see the Minister of Power saying that discos pay 137, well, not the Minister of Power, I should say. The Minister of Power's picture is there. Well, you see discos pay 137 billion naira to TCN amid persistent grid collapses.
So who is to blame on this one?
Good question, Jeffrey. And this is something that is almost like the oil sector, Jeffrey. The power sector and the oil sector, I think they account for the most headaches for Nigerians. So the power sector, you have
energy sector.
Generally, right? Generally. You have the generating companies, right? Then you have the transmission and the distribution. So TCN says, well, give us power. Okay, we need power. And then the GENCO say, well, you don't have enough infrastructure. That's why we have the grid collapses to wield the power. Discos are saying that we don't have the infrastructure as well. That's why we need more money. We need you to pay more. They say cost reflective tariff. So you keep looking to the players in that value chain, and it looks like the blame game keeps going on. So I think this is what is yet again.
All right, just at the very bottom of that front page of The Guardian newspaper, we have 4 feared dead, property destroyed as petrol tanker explodes in Delta State. So we've been seeing some sort of a conflicting number. Some are saying 4, some are saying 2, some are saying 5. But the fact is that a lot of people, or some people, have died due to that explosion that occurred in Delta State. And we'll keep our eyes and ears on the development as far as that is concerned. But from what I read, I understand that a tanker laden with petroleum product was on high speed. And of course, this kid of losing control, and eventually that explosion happened, and we could see people's houses or people's businesses destroyed, and this has to be checked as much as possible. I do not know what else we have to do to check these vehicles. I don't even know whether the roadworthiness of these articulated vehicles are followed through are followed through to the letter. Because when we speak to some of the guys who are in authority as far as checking vehicles are concerned, some of these guys don't even show up to be checked. So who checks articulated vehicles to make sure that they are roadworthy? So if you see the smoke that comes out from these vehicles,
visibility is zero. Just once you're behind this vehicle,
kicks out visibility. But it's very sad. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the families of those who lost their lives.
And I really hope we take that roadworthiness serious for the articulated vehicles. I told you the MO of, I think it was the FRSC, trying to stone the truck just to stop. And the truck ended up hitting another car because it didn't want to stop, and then causing a bigger problem right there on the highway. So we need to rethink roadworthiness, definitely. But let's take a look at the back page of The Guardian. Hey, sports news for you. Yet, well, the Super Eagles may not be in action, but you have the Chan Eagles in action, or about to be in action. And I should say that I'm not sure it's fair that a lot of people don't pay as much attention to the Chan Eagles. So this is a reminder.
Some people don't even know what Chan Eagles.
Right? Oh dear. So this is your reminder right now to pay attention, because all eyes on Chan Eagles as camp opens in Ikene. Chan, by the way, is the African Nations Championship. So it's sort of the Team B of the Super Eagles. And
based.
Exactly. So they have their competition coming up. 26 players of the Eagles Team B will commence preparation for the 8th Chan. So let's support our players. Eagles is Eagles, Jeffrey, yes. Whether it's Chan or Team A.
So Nigeria and Nigerians dominate the very back page of that particular, The Guardian newspaper. If just a moment that Adesanya adopts new training regime ahead of his UFC comeback. There was a time it was all about Nigeria, Israel Adesanya, and the other gentleman, Kamara, but at some point they started losing fights, but this comeback, let's hope it's comeback for real. And that's the tricky thing about sports, eras and all of that. So we hope that this training regime is adopted. It's going to give him that real comeback, because if he gets knocked out again, I'm not a big fan of UFC because it's just like street fights, literally. But it's what it is. We have great guys from Nigeria doing big things, although some of them don't carry the Nigerian flag by nationality. But they still represent Nigeria one way or the other.
Certainly.
So good luck to them.
Kamara Usman's been in Nigeria, and Ghana visited him. But hey, let's turn our attention now to the New Telegraph newspaper. What does the New Telegraph have for you today, January the 6th, 2025? There you have it. Let's begin with a big story. 2027. Northern Bloc plans to register with INEC. Yeah, I know you're still in 2025. You're still trying to, figure out the challenges of 2025, but politicians are already in 2027. So what will this look like? Well, the explainers under it said, heeds Gowan's counsel to seek South support for cohesion, inclusivity, says existing parties failed to address Nigeria's fundamental challenges. So at this point now, we have just close to 20 parties. If we get another party,
about 19, right?
Yeah, that will be 20 on the dot.
Well, for them, we understand that they are saying, if you see the byline says, existing parties fail to address Nigeria's fundamental challenges. Let's see what they have. But let's stay with the party issues. And this is attributed to the NWC of the PDP, saying PDP will produce more governors, take Aso Rock in 2027. Diri urges colleagues to strengthen party and save Nigeria. PDP has a lot of work to do as far as party cohesion and all of that. I've had conversation with PDP members, a series of conversations. They are still trying to put their acts together. Since the election of 2023, they've not been able to put their acts together. So it's pro this, pro that, interest wrangling, and they've not been able to hold their neck. So it's more like, some people are saying the reason the neck has not held is because they don't want to hold the neck. Afterwards, the party will collapse. They want to be ready before that neck goes on. And I was watching the luncheon by the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, where I think the most brutal statement and most honest statement that was made on that stage came from Senator Magnus Abe. He said we all did anti-party activity in 2023. There was enough anti-party to go around.
So I was going to ask you, which of the PDP members to speak with? Is it the ones that belong to the PDAPC or the LPDP?
That complexity is common in Rivers State. It's a common situation. The situation in Rivers State is a very funny one. So I'm even thinking that maybe because we don't believe that. We don't see ideological politics in Nigeria among the political class. I think we should just take away this whole issue of defection. Let them just be defecting in peace. It's true. They don't.
In any case, it's almost one and the same party.
President Muhammadu Buhari and President Bola Tinubu.
Oh yes, there's even the Oshimbajo.
Yes.
It's so funny what happens in parties, right?
Within the same political party.
Have like 4 different ideologies. There's also
different ideologies. One is pro-welfarist, the other is pro-capitalist. In the same party. Come on, guys. If we're not ready for this thing, let's just do it our way.
Nigeria is just a very interesting place. Blueprint is the next.
Yeah.
Well, Blueprint. And the big story on the front page of the Blueprint, Jeffrey, is also about 2027. Kwankwa sold to northern leaders, or elders this time around. Your choice of presidential candidates undermining democracy. Yeah. Yes, it's actually about 2027 eventually. Because, this candidate in 2023 definitely looks like he'll be a candidate in 2027. And you see, NEF urges further dialogue on tax reform bills, wants extensive engagement with critical stakeholders. And you saw the picture of the president in Enugu over the weekend.
And he did promise, just to add to that visit, promised to complete the Eastern Rail Line. He said the $3 billion worth of what do you call it now? Infrastructure.
But when?
From page. Yeah, he didn't give.
Did you hear that loud?
He did not say when.
He didn't say. He said before his administration. So is either before 2027 or if he gets re-elected?
So they didn't catch the political nuance of the presidency. I always look for the political nuance of the president because he would just say it in passing and you don't notice it.
So give me your vote and I will deliver this to you.
From Port Harcourt all the way to Maiduguri, because I know there's some spots along that corridor. He also promised to support the Anambra Basin development, that holds billions of barrels of either gas and all of that. But we also have that story yet again that has to do with 5 persons dying in Delta. As I said, the numbers here and there. That incident that occurred when that trailer that was carrying petroleum product lost control and exploded, killing people, destroying property in Delta State. Quite a sad one.
Definitely a sad one. And I really hope that we follow through with those things that were mentioned earlier on. I will take just one more for you, and you might miss this. In fact, there are 2 stories sort of linked. One is right at the top of the front page. NDLEA nabs ex-convict in Rivers, recovers 316,800 bottles of codeine. Looking at the NDLEA's report over the weekend, quite interesting nabs, as the NDLEA puts it. But you see in blue there, Saudi Arabia releases 3 Nigerians prosecuted for drug offense.
They come hand in hand, right?
Sort of.
It's a collabo.
At this rate. So there you have it. The Blueprint newspaper.
So those are the big ones we're tracking on some of the dailies that we've captured right here on the program. As far as what the newspapers are reporting, but you can see clearly that politics, we said it, we were even thinking that politics will shift a bit, but we said, it's going to start. The momentum is already building way stronger than we anticipated. That signals a lot of things. So in case you're not planning for anything, politicians are ahead of you. They're already planning on who will run against the president in 2027. The question is, will he run? I doubt if he won't. He can't wait for 30 years for one term. How old is he now? Okay.
Good question, Jeffrey. But you know what? We're right here to give you all of the happenings. And we're starting off with security. The CDS talking about insecurity, insurgency ending this year. And then you see the death recorded in Katsina. Some other events played out. So we're big on security this morning. And that's our first talking point right here on the Morning Brief. Do stay with us.